Hey guys, some of you have seen my post about these Peavey's FH-1 15-inch low frequency cabinets, folded horns. In here there is still some Peavey Black Widows. They will be coming out. I have painted the, as you can see, both horns, Cerwin-vega red, fire red. That one I just finished painting today, so it's still drying, curing. This one has cured over the weekend, so this one is ready. I just hooked up the driver on it. It's an Electro-Voice driver. So when I took the horn, and they were, as you see it here, that's how I got them. These came like this. I didn't know this when I got it. I started doing some research, and then that's when I found out what it was, because that came out of this. All of that came out of these two cabinets, and those are the custom M15 high frequency or mid frequency cabinets. So these are mid drivers from Electro-Voice, mid drivers, mid range. So what I found out when I went to the custom vintage custom website and talked to a few guys there, and got in touch with what you can call a guru on custom. He told me that these horns here, metal horns, are Altec horns, and they're mid-frows, as they call them, medium fro horns. They're not the long throwing horns, they're the medium fro. So that's pretty darn good, because since I'm going to convert all of this into more like hi-fi speaker, hi-fi use, and use for home use, I don't need the long throwing horns. These will come in perfect and really handy. The guys that I talked about the Electro-Voice drivers, they say that these are really good drivers, and they have been used for pro audio and hi-fi up for the years. With the correct crossover points and all that stuff, they say they can sound really, really sweet. In pro audio settings, they say that they are crossed at the low end around 800 hertz, which I find is kind of high. I think you can cross it lower than that, probably down in the 400 or 500 hertz range. So I'm gonna try and do 5, maybe 4, between 4 and 500 somewhere. So this mid-range is gonna play somewhere from 400 and 500 hertz and up. I'm gonna have a tweeter above it. I haven't quite decided yet what kind of tweeter I want to use, if I'm going to do a Cerwin-vega tweeter or if I want to do an Electro-Voice tweeter. But for sure, these low frequency cabinets will be getting Cerwin-vega woofers, 15-inch. So layout, how will it look when it's done? Well, you see the cabinet the way they are here. They will stay the same. Then on top of this, it's not going to be like this. This one comes higher up. Because on top of this, I can't go straight from this to that. Because I can't have this one playing all the way up to 400 or 500 hertz. So, on top of this, there would be a little box. I haven't, well, I kind of like have thought about maybe doing 10s. Maybe do 2 10s on top here. On each. There's two, left, right. So you have 115, and then there's a cabinet on top here with 2 10s on each side that do mid-bass. So I cross this one at 80 or 90 hertz. And then I have a cabinet or a box on top of here that have 2 10s that do from 80 or 90 up to about 400 or 500, where this is. And then this one comes on top of that box again with a bracket. I'm not going to build this one into a box. I'm just going to build a bracket. So this one kind of like floats in free air just to a bracket with a support system on the back that kind of supports the compression driver. And then the same with a tweeter on top. That's how I'm going to have planned to do it. So it more or less will be a 4-way system where the mid-bass, the mid-range, and the tweeter is one system, and they are run off a through signal, and the bottom has its own signal. That's how I've been looking at it. But the more I'm thinking about it and stuff like that, maybe instead of doing kind of like conventional crossover path and conventional crossover systems, I have looked into a few things on how maybe I can do it. So there's a few things that can be done. I want to make this sound so sweet. Is it gonna look anything like a hi-fi speaker? No. It's gonna look the way I like it. It's gonna be like a hybrid thing. I like the pro audio look, but the hi-fi sound, if you know what I mean. And using hi-fi drivers in pro audio cabinets has very good benefits. And I have always liked that. And that's why I like to build it like that. And that's why I like to convert these cabinets in that way. So it looks mean. I mean, look at this. This will look so mean when it's done. Color combination and color wise, I don't know if I'm going to do black all the way up. I mean, the bottom here is black. It has already two coatings of Duratex. Once again, I did not filler it up. I didn't use any body filler or anything like that. Because to me, I'm not trying to make it look new. This is just, I wanted to show history. It has history. It has a past, and I wanted to show what it's been doing. If I could have filled it up and filled all the cracks and made it look smooth and all that stuff. But is it important? No. I want things to show character. I wanted to show the history it's been through. This has been used by Memphis Live and a few other things, which has quite a bit of a history here in Memphis. So I didn't want to go in and do all kinds of shit to them. Yes, I gave them a new coating just to preserve the wood and make them more durable. But I didn't want to like turn them into some sterile thing. I wanted to show character. I wanted to show that it's been through its battle. It's been through wars. Up and down, lugged in and out of buildings. I wanted to show that. Another thing I'm going to do, these Peavey handles here. I have Cerwin-vega handles. That is the same size, same width, same height. I don't have to take these plastic scoops out. I can just take the handle and replace them with Cerwin-vega handles. Convenient. The bracket, okay, the box that comes on top will be black. That for sure. Then of course you have the Cerwin-vega drivers, 210s with the red foam. So that will match the black, and it will match this. And then of course on top of that box, this will almost be like a building block thing, like Legos and all that stuff. You put a box on top of this, and so it's not one complete box. I'm not going to drill holes or screw them to each other. They're stackables. Just like PA systems and pro audio systems. You stack it. The only thing that is probably going to be screwing together is the mid-range here and the tweeter thing that goes into that bracket that I'm going to build from wood. It's going to be looking like a wood thing. That wooden thing has to be screwed and fastened to the box of the 210s so it doesn't wobble and fall off and everything. So that of course have to be fastened to it, but otherwise than that, the 10-inch box will just be a stackable on top of this one. And I think I'm going to use AT10s because I have abundance of AT drivers, the AT10s drivers. I probably have 40 of them in stock. It's going to sound so sweet. A 15-inch Cerwin-vega subwoofer in here, and with two 10s on top, playing mid-bass, and this mid-range here, and then of course a tweeter on top. I haven't decided, like I said, what kind of tweeter I want to do. If I want to do a Cerwin-vega or an Electro-Voice tweeter. I have to kind of like listen to this first. I have to hook this mid-range up and listen to it. Forget about numbers. Forget about curves. I don't care much about that. I plug things up and I listen to it, and then I find out what is the sound, what is the thumbprint, you know, the fingerprint of that sound of that driver. And then I listen to other drivers and I kind of like match them that way. That's the best way to match drivers. Beside the ohm, of course, and the impedance and stuff. That you have to go by numbers. But listening to drivers and how they play and how they react and how they all project sound, and then you match them based on that. That's how I do it. It can, maybe I end up using Electro-Voice. Maybe I end up using Cerwin-vega. I don't know. I have plenty of Cerwin-vega tweeters, and I have a few Electro-Voice tweeters as well. So time will tell. All I can say is I'm just waiting for this second one here to dry so I can put the other thing on it. This one goes there. And if you're wondering what this is, that's just a fastening pin or a nut or bolt or whatever. So when I screw this one on here, because this is bolt on, so when I bolt this one on here, there, it goes on like that. This one was used here to support it on the back of the cabinet, on the cabinets over there. So there was a hole in the back of the cabinet where there was a screw that was screwed into this one, in there, screwed to it, to keep this one in place. So that's all that is. This can be taken off, but I'm going to leave it that way because I'm going to use it as a support thing. So when I make the bracket, that will be a part of the bracket. So it's coming along pretty good. It's drying up now. The paint is even. It's very good. So that's good. I like that. There's a couple of millimeters clearance between this cabinet and that one. I just supported it with a broken tweeter under there. Like I say, I have to have a really high screaming tweeter. And Cerwin-vega, I have a couple. I don't want to use, I know people said, well, do you want to use the HF25 or the H15? No, they won't fit this sound of these. So I have to use some other tweeters, other Cerwin-vega tweeters. I'm going to be testing horn tweeters, soft dome tweeters. So who knows? I might end up using some new stroker tweeters even. Who knows? You know, all about testing and find out what sounds the best in combination with this one, and of course with the 210s and the 15. Hopefully I can have this all wrapped up in 2 to 3 weeks. It's been so freaking busy here now, so I don't know. There's something new every day. So I'll keep you guys posted, and when they're ready, whoever lives close by are welcome to come by down and take a look and take a listen. I have amps that are big enough to drive this, and if I go for, that's what I was going to say, if I go for passive crossovers, There are certain things that has to be done, but I might even go active crossovers on this 4-way system, because that might be even easier. I might be running this one on passive, run the sub on passive, and maybe run 2 passives, so it's like 2 separate systems, like the bottom and the top, because I have a special thing for that I can use. Or I just run a 4-way or a 3-way, 1 passive and the rest of it in a way. I have to see whatever I can do, the best way to do it. So whenever it's ready, I'll make room down here and put him up and hook him up and play the shit out of everyone around there. So stay tuned.